Sitting on the side of the highway waiting to catch speeding drivers, a state police officer sees a car puttering along at 22 miles per hour. He thinks to himself, "This driver is just as dangerous as a speeder." So he turns on his lights and pulls the driver over. Approaching the car, he notices that there are 5 old ladies, 2 in the front seat and 3 in the back, eyes wide and white as ghosts. The driver, obviously confused, says to him, "Officer, I don't understand. I was doing exactly the speed limit. What seems to be the problem?" "Ma'am," the officer replies, "you weren't speeding, but you should know that driving slower than the speed limit can also be a danger to other drivers." "Slower than the speed limit?" she asked. "No, sir, I was doing the speed limit exactly. 22 miles an hour." The old woman says a bit proudly. The state police officer, trying to contain a chuckle, explains to her that 22 was the route number, not the speed limit. A bit embarrassed, the woman grinned and thanked the officer for pointing out her error. "But before I let you go, ma'am, I have to ask, is everyone in this car okay? These women seem awfully shaken and they haven't muttered a single peep this whole time." The officer asks, "Oh, they'll be all right in a minute, officer. We just got off Route 190.
A truck driver was driving along the freeway, saw a sign that read, "Low bridge overhead," but before he could stop, the bridge is right ahead of him and he gets stuck under it. Cars are backed up 4 miles. Finally, a police officer approaches, puts his hands on his hips, and says, "Got stuck, huh?" "No," the truck driver says, "I was delivering this bridge and ran out of gas."
Alex was pulled over for speeding down the highway. The officer came to the driver's window and said, "Sir, may I see your driver's license and registration?" Alex said, "Well, officer, I don't have a license. It was taken away for a DUI." The officer, in surprise, said, "What, do you have a registration for the vehicle?" So Alex replied, "No, sir, the car is not mine. I stole it, but I am pretty sure I saw a registration card in the glove box when I put the gun in it." The officer stepped back. "There is a gun in the glove box?" The man sighed and said, "Yes, sir, I used to kill the woman who owns the car before I stuffed her in the trunk." The officer steps toward the back of the car and says, "Sir, do not move. I am calling for backup." The officer calls for backup and about 10 minutes another highway patrolman arrives. He walks up to the window slowly and asks the man for his driver's license and registration. Alex said, "Yes, officer, here it right here." It all checked out, so the officer said, "Is there a gun in the glove box, sir?" Alex laughs and says, "No, officer, why would there be a gun in the glove box?" He opened the glove box and showed him that there was no gun. The second officer asked him to open the trunk because he had reason to believe that there was a body in it. Alex agrees and opens the trunk. No dead body. The second officer says, "Sir, I do not understand. The officer that pulled you over said that you did not have a license. The car was stolen. There was a gun in the glove box and a dead body in the trunk." Alex looks the officer in the eyes and says, "Yeah, and I'll bet he said I was speeding too."
A little old lady is walking down the street dragging 2 large plastic garbage bags behind her. One of the bags rips, and every once in a while a $20 bill falls out onto the sidewalk. Noticing this, a policeman stops her and says, "Ma'am, there are $20 bills falling out of your bag." "Oh, really? Darn," says the little old lady. "I'd better go back and see if I can find them. Thanks for telling me." "Well, now, not so fast," says the cop. "How did you get all that money? You didn't steal it, did you?" "Oh, no," says the little old lady. "You see, my backyard is right next to the football stadium parking lot. On game days, a lot of fans come and pee through the fence into my flower garden. So, I stand behind the fence with my hedge clippers. Each time some guy sticks his thing through the fence, I say, $20, or off it comes. Well, that seems only fair. Laughs the cop. Okay. Good luck. Oh, by the way, what's in the other bag? Well, you know, says the little old lady, not everybody pays.
A priest from Ireland was assigned to a Texas diocese. One morning, Father O'Malley rose from his bed. It was a fine spring day in his new Texas mission parish. He walked to the window of his bedroom to get a deep breath of the beautiful day outside. He then noticed there was a jackass lying dead in the middle of his front lawn. He promptly called the local police station. The conversation went like this. "Good morning, this is Sergeant Jones. How might I help you?" "And the best of the day to yourself. This is Father O'Malley at St. Bridget's. There's a jackass lying dead in me front lawn. Would ye be so kind as to send a couple o' your lads to take care of the matter?" Sergeant Jones, considering himself to be quite a wit, replied with a smirk, "Well now, Father, it was always my impression that you people took care of last rites." There was dead silence on the line for a long moment. Father O'Malley then replied, "'Tis certainly true, but we are also obliged to notify the next of kin."